Hi everyone and welcome to Equestrian. Today we are going to overthrow some myths about contact with the horse's mouth. There will be a few twists and turns and a few different perspectives on the subject. As always, we will try to explain it all in our own way. In this video, you'll find a few elements that will help you ride using your seat and calves to maintain proper contact with the horse's mouth. To make it all consistent, let's note that the contact on the bit is correct only if, regardless of the gait and the work being done, the line from the rider's elbow to the bit is straight. Let's take a closer look at this. Our line should be straight not only when looking from the side, but also when viewed from above. This second aspect isn't talked about very often. We mentioned that in the video on turning. You can check it out if you haven't seen it yet. So for us, contact is always proposed by the horse, both in terms of its strength and its stability. While stability depends on the training level of the horse itself, of course the horse won't offer contact all by itself. For this to happen, there needs to be an understanding and willingness. Eventually, we will also post a video on using your calves and what it actually means to ride forward. And for the sake of making progress, I suggest watching our video regarding different exercises and making progress, also available on our channel. We can only achieve a proper suppleness of the hand when it's in its anatomical position. That lets us feel every little movement on the reins. First of all, the hand from the shoulder to the tips of your fingers must be properly positioned. That is, the shoulder blades and the shoulders lowered down so that you can feel them come together on your back without slouching. Your elbows should be close to the sides of your body so that any forces associated with bending or holding your horse back go through the biceps muscle and not the triceps. We'll try to show this on a video. That is, using the biceps, we have the ability to pull the shoulder blades together and lean back, while using the triceps, our elbows will stand out, will lean forward, and the shoulders will make a slouch. The next step is to put your wrists in a vertical position. This causes the bones of the forearm not to cross. Note that any time when we lay our wrists down, the bones of the forearm are crossed, which prevents the transmission of force further down. So it basically prevents the return of that flexibility that we produced by passing it through our entire spine and through the horse's entire spine up to its muzzle. This flexibility should return to the hand, and it cannot. A slightly bent wrist allows flexibility, just like playing the guitar. If with all of this we are supposed to feel anything, then we still need a lack of tension in the fingers. When we achieve that, we can adjust their movement and finally we can close them, for example to halt. Let's note that we should carry the reins and not hold onto them or pull them. We have already pointed out in the past that we should apply some of the comments directed to the horses to their riders. Then what about the rider's self-carriage? The hand should always be a few millimeters above the bit and not the other way around. And here we need to go over the art of not picking up the slack that may occur. When reins get loose, we should use the energy built from the calf to the rider's hand. The strength of this energy varies from one phase of the horse's movement to another, and our hand must accept those differences and not forcefully compensate for them. Often at this point, trainers tend to talk about flexibility, which is the ability to accept these differences without forcing a certain strength of the contact. Here's an exercise for your hands that will make the elements of this contact more clear. This you can try at home. Get 2 cups of water and try to run while holding them in your hands. Note that just like when riding your horse, here you have no control over how heavy the cups are and how strong the contact is. And we can only hold them steadily in one specific position. Let's assume that the horse is hanging on our hand or pulling. This means that we have to hold or pull the reins just as strong as the horse. What if we gave up on it? Let's see. If in such a situation we were to check the quality of our contact with at least one of the reins, usually the inside rein, to see if we can communicate with our horse's mouth and achieve kind of a dialogue-like contact, then the horse will gain more of its own balance, and any pulling on one of the reins will become physically impossible. Check it out for yourself. Let's move on to riding in the transitions with the hand forward, so to the hand. Let's discuss transitions. This is where the most errors occur when it comes to contact, so let's treat transitions as an exercise to improve contact with the horse's mouth. The first problem is upward transitions. Here the matter is a bit obvious, you simply can't hold on to the horse's mouth in the transition to the higher gait. I know that everyone instinctively would like to have some kind of a post to hold on to as in a bus, but here you have to follow the movement of your post. And this is what practically everyone is pointing out. That is, every instructor says that to prepare for the forward movement in the upward transition and ride with your hands forward. At this point, I also encourage you to watch our video on half-halts and the evaluation of the new gait, which we covered in our video on progress. We also want to draw some attention to another aspect, that is transitions to the lower gaits. It is good to remember that we should enter the slower gait and not break into it. Why so? After all, we're talking about a certain lightness, finesse of riding, and at the same time we need to ride from behind, so from the horse's hind end towards the front, while maintaining the lightness of the front. We won't be able to do this if the horse falls onto the bit as if it was a wall placed in front of it. It is easy to change this habit by thinking about the fact that you also have to ride into the downward transition with a certain amount of energy. So we ride in from trot into trot or from trot into halt. We don't break from trot into trot or from trot into halt. It seems that it is only a difference in nomenclature, whereas it is actually a difference in thinking. If we apply that in our lessons, then the quality of our transitions will improve rapidly. In addition, riding into the transition will allow us not to stop the hand and instead to follow the horse's mouth with our hand flexible and follow the contact proposed by the horse. The amount of advantages that occur at this point is amazing. We gain not only proper contact with the horse's mouth, the obedience and willingness to make these transitions, but also a flexible spine, engagement of the hind end, and everything else that is essential for proper riding. Here it is also important not to pick up a certain amount of slack on the reins, because when the balance changes, the horse must also offer a change in the quality of your contact. Let the horse in a new movement or even in a halt propose a new amount of pressure on the contact and let him know if we accept it. This kind of a change in contact with the horse should produce results in the form of increased energy proposed by the horse, and you may find that your balance is not responsive enough with such contact. To put it simply, an unfortunate flop in the saddle can happen. This happens because suddenly the order of actions has changed to a more proper one. That is, the contact is the result of the action of an aid rather than the beginning. Finally, your riding can become more correct, from your seat and calf to the hand and not the other way around. Here we also come to riding from the inside leg to the outside rein. If your riding is to be smooth, then I encourage you to consider it in dense terms, such a drawing of what we think it should look like. The rider is by definition in a better position than the dancer because he has an additional inner rein and an outer calf. This gives us possibilities. This illustration appeared here precisely to make you aware of what would happen if this outer rein was loose or rubber-like. What would the dancer's confidence be? What if, in the middle of a pirouette or a turn or some other figure, suddenly the dancer lost contact with his partner? Imagine the other dancer's face. Now let's compare that to the situation of a horse whose contact on the outside rein breaks off in the middle of a turn or a jump. No wonder that in the following turn or jump, the horse prefers to let go of our hand, free itself from this unstable contact and saddle the matter on its own, with or without us. My own method to test the quality of the contact is to ride in both inside and outside flexion. The bend refers to the horse's entire spine as in the turn, and the flexion I understand as the alignment of the horse's neck and head alone. I'll use a picture for this, however I will not elaborate on the topic in this video. If you are interested in the details, send us an email, we will make the additional materials available for you. What is important in this exercise is to clearly establish the outer rein and inner calf regardless of the position of the horse's head. The cutout of the whole horse does not change at all and it is worth paying attention to. As per usual, we have prepared a little pro tip for you guys. Pose. Let's remember that the pole exercises are there to practice contact. We often focus on riding over the poles themselves, and this is after all the horse's task. Let's not interfere in the horse's job, but let's just do ours. Let's watch the balance, hands, and contact. Gymnastic jumping exercises are used for the same purpose. Gymnastics is for the horse, while the rider's task is to exercise their own balance, leg position, hand position, and adapt to the contact proposed by the horse while jumping. That is it for today, guys. Remember to subscribe to our channel and leave us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Let us know in the comments or by email if you have any questions, and remember that we're just getting started. We are preparing more various materials. We'll explain why we're talking plural and how it all looks like behind the scenes. We gladly make videos regarding your ideas, so let us know if you have any. There are some videos on the channel that we think you might find useful or are a continuation of this video, so check those out. Also remember to check out our channel's community card. You can vote for different video themes on there. You can also find some announcements there.